So in that book, he talks about how the market that he was in, which was basically, convenience stores, like just stores that sell things that people need, and all the evolutions that went through. And he talks about how the only people that, he said he saw so many people come and go over time. Some people would be winning and then they'd be bankrupt, and everyone comes and goes over time, but the only people who survived were what he called slick operators. And what he talks about is that at the start of any new market, the main people in it are promoters. And when at first, when any entrepreneur starts in business, they're a scrappy promoter. They're kind of pulling rabbits out of the hat to just promote and get customers, drum up demand, get attention. That's how you start. But then you have to evolve into an operator. And an operator is someone who has good management, good operations, good support. They've got good financials, good accounting systems. They're efficient, and they're looking at how they can make every process better, faster, stronger, cheaper, more reliable, and they're constantly getting better. And this is happening in the internet marketing industry right now. It was full of promoters, but they're all dying right now. A lot of them are already dead because you just can't do that anymore. The market's moved, and now you need tighter operations. And you also cannot get to 8 figures without being an operator. You can't be someone who just does good promos and is charismatic and has a big social media following and all of that and make 8 figures. Maybe you might do it for a little bit, but then it won't happen anymore, especially as the market evolves. Because the slick operators will squeeze you out of everything. And so it goes from being a promoter to being a operator. And this is the thing that you have to do to get to 8 figures. It's 100% required, mandatory. You cannot get to 8 figures as a promoter. You need to have dialed in operations. And this is everything: your support, your books, your financials, your every system, every little nut and bolt in the entire business. You have to know it. You have to know it inside out. You have to have it machined so it's going perfectly. You have to know how to troubleshoot it, and you have to have other people watching it, and you have to have the whole machine humming and balanced and tuned to get there. And for Sam Walton to achieve that, he was extreme if you see the things he did on trying to make things efficient. He even bought an aeroplane so he could fly over new developments and watch the traffic patterns and see where the main roads were and see how the town was growing and see where he was going to put his stores, and then he would go into other stores and see how they were laying them out, how they were positioning the products, how they were buying it, how they were pricing it. This dude was a fanatic.
I heard a story when he was in Mexico, he got arrested because the Mexican authorities, he was actually in a supermarket measuring
the distance between shelves, yeah.
And they thought there was a crazy man under there.
He would literally go there and measure things with a tape measure. He'd bring a voice recorder and interview all of the clerks and the people in there. He was a fanatic. And he just wanted to machine, just if it was a little edge in anything, he did it. And that meant that no one could beat him, ever, because he would get the most yield on his stores out of anyone by a mile. So people would think that, oh, you've just got some store in Arkansas or whatever. How do you say that? State? Arkansas. So I said it right. So doesn't it end with an S? I don't get that, man. I still don't understand how that happens. Did they just be like, oh, fuck that S, don't worry about it. Just put a W there. And then they would be like, oh, because he's running some store out in the Wops, but he was making way more money than some of the stores in Manhattan and other things. because he just had such good operations. His business was so dialed in. And it goes way deeper than just promotions. It would go into his fulfillment centers, like where he would have stock his products, his culture that he would train people on. He also figured out how to how to turn minimum wage employees in low-income areas into people who were more efficient and productive than educated people in high-income areas, right? He figured out how to squeeze efficiency everywhere. And that's how he was able to win. And what's crazy is when you read it, you'll realize that this dude really did just start with one damn store. And he would try and pull rabbits out of hats to get more customers. He would put an ice cream machine outside. Or he'd have like some sort of entertainment, like a clown juggling outside. He was a promoter like that. And he would go and buy the products himself in his car and bring them back in his car and put them in the store. And like, he started off with one damn store in Arkansas. And then he just grew it brick by brick, like store by store, until it became the largest company on earth. And he was the richest man in the world, and Walmart was the wealthiest, was the biggest company in the world at a point. And then Jeff Bezos learned from him and learned how to make that on the internet. And that's what Amazon is. It's Walmart on the internet. And he ended up taking over his mentor. But you can tell his entire business is based off what he read in Sam Walton's book. That's why he makes it mandatory reading for every executive.